everyone, this is your mentor Seema Chalani from KYMS Academy, and I welcome you back to this platform of learning and knowledge. Today we are starting CAT 23 Slot 1 previous year question series, and in today's video we are going to discuss 4 questions from verbal ability section. Out of the 4 questions, 2 are on para summary and 2 are on para completion. So let's get started and together we make it happen. A quote by Tim Notke: hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. It's a very interesting quote, and it says that people who have the natural ability, actually they do not put in a lot of hard work, as a result of which they lag behind. But those people who do not have natural ability, they work hard, they believe in consistent hard work, and then they achieve success. So ultimately what matters is not basically the intelligence that you should have, but the greed for success, and that is going to take you to the height of success. Okay, so the first question is on para completion, and as we discussed such kind of questions earlier also. So in this type of question, a sentence is given which is eliminated from the paragraph. Okay, and 4 blanks are given to you, as you can see, bracket 1, bracket 2, bracket 3 and bracket 4. तो अब हमें ये देखना है that this eliminated sentence will come in which blank. So I am going to read the sentence first and then the paragraph. Sentence: the discovery helps to explain archaeological similarities between the Paleolithic people of China, Japan and Americas. So here I am going to underline archaeological similarities, and some discovery is there that is going to help to explain these similarities. Paragraph: the researchers also uncovered an unexpected genetic link between Native Americans and Japanese people. During the deglaciation period, another group branched out from northern coastal China and traveled to Japan. We were surprised to find that this ancestral source, now this ancestral source stands for this particular statement, also contributed to the Japanese gene pool, especially the indigenous anus, says Lee. They share similarities in how they crafted stem projectile points for arrowheads and spears. This suggests that the Pleistocene connection among the Americas, China and Japan was not confined to culture but also to genetics, says senior author King Peng Kong, an evolutionary geneticist at the Chinese Academy of Sciences. Now in this paragraph, while reading, I could infer that 2 things were there which were very, very important. First is archaeological similarities, and then author is talking about the genetic link. Okay, and when I came down to the last part of the paragraph, here the author is saying that the Palestinian connection among the Americas, China and Japan was not confined to culture but also genetics. It means we are talking about these 2 things. Okay, now the first sentence talks about the genetic link. ठीक है, first sentence इसी की genetic link की बात कर रहा है, and then after this sentence in bracket 1, I cannot keep this sentence because this sentence talks about the archaeological similarities, or we can say cultural similarities. Okay, why cultural similarities? Because I can infer that word with the help of these words, arrowhead, spears, or maybe this word. Okay, so if I keep this sentence in bracket 1 or blank 1, this is going to disturb the flow of the paragraph. Okay, because the sentence given after blank 1, it also talks about the genetic link only. Because bracket 2 के बाद हमने यहाँ पे ये बोला है this ancestral source also contributed to the Japanese gene pool. It means all these 3 sentences, they are talking about some genetic link. So I cannot keep this sentence in bracket 1 and bracket 2. I hope this is clear. Yes. Now they share similarities. Which similarities are we talking about? Obviously, which are given over here in how they crafted stem projectile points for arrowheads and spears. So basically these words, they are talking about some cultural similarities, and for that reason I can keep this sentence in blank 3 because here we are talking about archaeological similarities and these similarities belong to this thing only. Okay, so this sentence will come in blank 3. And why I can't keep this in blank for, the reason is this suggests, because whatever things we are talking about in the sentences given before blank 4, we are talking about the genetic link and we are talking about the archaeological similarities. Therefore, it's a kind of conclusion where the author is saying that this connection among these people was not confined to the culture but also to genetics. It means it is summing up both the things. Therefore, the answer is going to be option 3. Clear? Second question. Sentence is, this philosophical cut at one's core beliefs, values, and way of life is difficult enough. So the tone of the sentence is negative. Paragraph. The experience of reading philosophy is often disquieting. Now here the author is saying that the people who read philosophy, so their experience is not that good. Okay, it makes them unsettling. When reading philosophy, the values around which one has heretofore organized one's life may come to look provincial, flatly wrong, or even evil. Again, it's negative. When beliefs previously held as truths are rendered implausible, new beliefs, values, and ways of living may be required. What's worse, philosophers admonish each other to remain unsutured until such time as a defensible new answer is revealed or constructed. Now you see here, this word is very important. What is worse? So when what is worse, greater, braver, such degrees are given, it means author is showing us the intensified thing. Okay, so if something is worse, which is a comparative degree, इसका मतलब author ने इसके पहले कुछ ऐसा sentence लिखा होगा जो बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं था. Okay, so here I am going to pick this word. Sometimes philosophical writing is even strictly critical in that it does not even attempt to provide an alternative after tearing down a cultural or conceptual citadel. The reader of philosophy must be prepared for the possibility of this experience. Now here the author is basically giving us the suggestion, must be prepared for the possibility of this experience. It means we should prepare ourselves for such kind of experience. While reading philosophy can help one clarify one's values and even make oneself conscious for the first time of the fact that there are good reasons for believing what one believes, it can also generate unremediated doubt that is difficult to live with. Okay, so now in the first line author is saying कि जब हम कुछ भी philosophy पढ़ते हैं तो वो हमें काफी unsettle कर देती है. Why? Because here the author is saying in the next sentence कि अभी तक जिस वैल्यूज के अराउंड पर हमने हमारी एक लाइफ सेट कर रखी थी, जिसके अकॉर्डिंग हमने हमारी लाइफ को ऑर्गेनाइज कर रखा था, तो अब वही वैल्यूज हमारे लिए दे आर प्रूवन एज रॉन्ग एंड इवन इवल. अब बिकॉज अभी तक जिस बिलीफ के साथ हम रहते आ रहे थे, एंड इफ दोज आर प्रूवन रॉन्ग और इवल, so when beliefs previously held as truths are rendered plausible. So as you can see, this sentence is in continuation with this thing. Okay, क्योंकि अगर जो पहले के बिलीव्स थे जो हमारे लिए ट्रुथ की तरह होते थे, एंड नाउ वी आर सेइंग कि नो दे आर नॉट वर्किंग, सो न्यू बिलीव्स, वैल्यूज एंड वेज ऑफ लिविंग मे बी रिक्वायर्ड. तो नाउ वी नीड व्हाट? न्यू बिलीव्स, न्यू वैल्यूज. ओके, so I cannot keep this sentence in bracket 1. The reason is this sentence is in continuation with this particular sentence. So definitely blank 1 is eliminated. It means option 1 is eliminated. Now, what is worse? Now, can you see? Here the author is saying this philosophical cut at one's course, belief, values and way of life is difficult enough. इसका मतलब यहाँ पर हमारी जो फिलोसफी थी हम थोड़े उससे अलग हो रहे हैं, एंड नाउ वी आर लुकिंग फॉर न्यू बिलीव्स. तो बेसिकली जो ये चीज है, इट इज गोइंग टू बी डिफिकल्ट फॉर अस. ठीक है, अभी डिफिकल्ट है और वर्स क्या हो जाएगा? इंटेंसिफाइड थिंग. तो डेफिनेटली आई कैन से नाउ दैट दिस सेंटेंस इज गोइंग टू कम इन blank 2 because it is negative, this is also negative, and this is the intensified form of this particular sentence. What is worse? Philosophers admonish each other to remain unsutured until such time as a defensible new answer is revealed. और यहाँ पर हमको नया आंसर भी नहीं मिल रहा है. So obviously this is the worst thing, that if I'm going away from my said belief, then I should have new beliefs also, but then I'm not getting the answer. So that becomes even worse. Okay. So now as I've got the answer, so definitely doesn't make any sense if we go for bracket 3 or bracket 4. But still, now if you are going to keep this sentence in bracket 3, it is not going to make any sense because already something worse is given over here. So I cannot reduce the intensity of this thing by writing this sentence in blank 3. And now here the author is giving a certain suggestion. So again, it will not make any sense that if I am going to write this thing in blank 4. So answer is going to be option 2. Clear? Okay. So now third question is on para summary. As you all know, in para summary questions, what we have to do, we have to go for the main subject, then we have to find out the tone of the paragraph, and then it should encompass, the answer choice should encompass the entire thing, not only the one part, but the entire thing, the beginning also and the end also. Okay. So now, colonialism is not a modern phenomenon. Okay, it is not new. World history is full of example, history is full of example. One society gradually expanding by incorporating adjacent territory and settling its people on newly conquered territory. In the 16th century, colonialism changed decisively because of technological developments in navigation that began to connect more remote parts of the world. The modern European colonial project emerged when it became possible to move large numbers of people across the ocean and to maintain political control in spite of geographical dispersion. The term colonialism is used to describe the process of European settlement, violent dispossession, and political domination over the rest of the world, including the Americas, Australia, and parts of Africa and Asia. Now, here in this paragraph, three things are important. First thing, it is not a modern phenomenon. It means colonialism is there since ages, okay? And the history is full of example. अब उसने example किसका दिया है? That there have been so many societies जिन्होंने अपने आप को expand किया है, okay? Neighboring territory को साथ में मिलाकर and then making the new conquered territory, okay? But then what happened in the 16th century? In the 16th century, there was a huge shift in colonialism. अब ये shift कैसे हुआ? Because of the advancements in navigation technology, okay? And because of this reason, connection took place among the remote parts of the world, okay? So basically, this is the reason and this is the effect. The modern European colonial project emerged. Now here, the European colonialism also took shape when the technology enabled the mass migration. Okay, now because of the technology, वहाँ पर mass migration होने लगा and political control was also established despite geographical displacement, despite geographical distances. बहुत ज़्यादा distances है, उसके बाद भी वहाँ पर political control करना possible हुआ. The term colonialism is used to describe the process of European settlement. Okay, now European colonialism is basically, it's a process of European settlement, violent displacement, dispossession here means displacement, and political control over the rest of the world. So this last line says that European colonialism it shows the impact of European colonialism over the rest of the world. Okay, so three things are there. It's not a new phenomenon. Okay, secondly, in the 16th century, because of the advancements in navigation technology, we could connect with the distant world, and then European colonialism came into being means came into picture, and then the technology enabled the mass migration. And towards the end of the paragraph, we are talking about the impact of European colonialism. So now let us check the options. First, colonialism surged in the 16th century due to advancements in navigation, enabling British settlements abroad and global dominance. Now here, colonialism surged in the 16th century, ऐसा नहीं था, colonialism was already there, okay, so it is not a new phenomena, it's a it was there, like even before the 16th century also it was there. All right, now as a result of developments in navigation technology, European colonialism led to the displacement of indigenous populations and global political changes in the 16th century. Now here we are talking about European colonialism, which is very, very specific, because we are not simply talking about European colonialism, we are talking about the colonialism. So basically, European colonialism is just the one thing, okay? So it has become very specific. It cannot be the answer. Though it appears appealing, but it is not going to be the answer because of the specific term European colonialism. Colonialism, conceptualized in the 16th century, allowed colonizers to expand their territory, establish settlements, and exercise political power. अब आप यहाँ पर देख सकते हैं, the word conceptualize is given. So obviously colonialism 16th century में नहीं आया था, वो उससे पहले भी था. So again this is going to be wrong. So yes, we are left with option 4 and that is going to be the right answer. But इसको भी देख लेते हैं. Technological advancements in navigation in the 16th century, yes, this is given over here. Transform colonialism, enabling Europeans. You see, colonialism is basically what? It's a broader term, okay? And here European colonialism is a narrow term, a specific term. Enabling Europeans to establish settlements and exert political dominance over distant regions. So it is covering most of the things which are given in the paragraph. Therefore, it is going to be the right answer. Now, the last question. Manipulating information was a feature of history long before modern journalism established rules of integrity. Again, here the author is talking about that misinformation, okay, it was there. I mean, it is again, it is not new, it was there, okay, before the modern journalism. A record dates back to ancient Rome when Antony met Cleopatra and his political enemy Octavian launched a smear campaign against him with sharp slogans written upon coins. अब बेटा इसका मतलब क्या है? Simply here the author has given us the example of Octavian and how Octavian used misinformation in order to gain power. आप देख सकते हैं उसने यहाँ पर लिखा है कि obviously Octavian wrote something upon the coins and that too against Antony and Cleopatra. By writing something against them and that too the writing the false information, he could succeed in gaining the power. So basically through this example we can say that misinformation is being used by the people in order to gain the power. The perpetrator became the first Roman emperor and fake news had allowed Octavian to hack the republic system once and for all. So this is conveying the same thing which I wrote over here. But now as you can see, but is given, which is a transition word, and transition word it suggests what? It suggests the change of tone. Okay. So now from here I can say that if I want to go for the right option, it means my option should encapsulate both the things, okay? History also, historical context also, and the modern context also. Because here after but author is saying, but the 21st century has seen the weaponization of information on an unprecedented scale. मतलब अब जो misinformation है वो काफी बढ़ चुका है in the 21st century. Powerful new technology makes the fabrication of content simple and social networks amplify falsehood peddled by states, populist politicians and dishonest corporate entities. तो जितनी भी हमारी टेक्नोलॉजीज आ रही है, it basically gives rise to the misinformation and that too it is supported by states, populist politicians and dishonest corporate entities. मतलब जो ये spreading of misinformation है वो 21st century में आकर और बढ़ता जा रहा है because of the technology. Okay. The platforms have become fertile ground for competition, propaganda, trolling and troll armies. And obviously जितनी हमारी सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स है वो एक बेस बन चुका है, एक बेडरॉक बन चुका है ऐसे लोगों के लिए, those who are trying to spread false information in order to gain the power. Okay, so here contrasting word is there and two contexts are given. One is historical and second is modern. So now let's see the option. Disinformation which is mediated by technology today is not new, correct, and has existed since ancient times. So when you are going to read this option is going to sound correct to you, okay, because there is nothing wrong in this option, barring one thing, that this option does not talk about the power. Why we are spreading misinformation? Because in order to gain the power, and for that reason author has also cited the example of Octavian. Okay, so this cannot be the answer because of the word power which is missing. People need to become critical of what they read, since historically weaponization of information has led to corruption. Now this option is something which is not at all related to the paragraph, because author is not saying that people need to become critical of what they read. No. So this is something which is unrelated and out of the scope. Use of misinformation for attaining power, a practice that is as old as the Octavian era, is currently fueled by technology. So yes, use of information we are talking about, power word is given, and this sentence shows us the historical context plus the modern context, and the reason is basically the spread of technology. So I think this sentence is covering the entire thing, so I can keep it as an answer, but then I will verify option 4 as well. Octavian used fake news to manipulate people and attain power and influence just as people do today. Again, beta, इसमें कोई ऐसा wrong नहीं है, but the thing is, when we talk about para summary questions, so basically example should not be given the importance. हाँ, अगर वो बीच में आ रहा है तो it's okay, but then you cannot select any summary which is starting with the example. And for that reason, I'm not going to consider fourth option. I'm going to take third as the right answer. Okay, clear? So we are done with all the 4 questions, and I think all the 4 questions were doable. In what sense? You just have to go for certain things, process of elimination technique should be there, and then you will be able to reach to the right answer. So if you are learning from our videos, then please do like, share, subscribe our channel, and in case of any doubt, you can always visit our website and give us a call on the number displayed on the screen. Thank you so much.